I'm Jasmine Moradi, and you're listening to the Queens of Tech podcast, a podcast series about workplace role models, where I get the opportunity to ask 60 plus questions to female influencers about their journey into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. My vision with this podcast is to raise the workplace ecosystem for women in tech. My mission is to bridge the gap between schools and workplaces by highlighting female role models in STEM to encourage more young girls and women to unleash their full potential in these fields to reach top leadership roles. In this episode, I'm very excited to welcome my guest, tech queen Ran Tao, data scientist at Google. Hi, Ran.
Hi, Jasmine.
I'm very happy having you joining us from St. Clara, California, US today.
Thanks for inviting me.
How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm glad to hear. Now, let us dive into your journey into STEM. Hope you're ready for the Queens of Tech 60 plus questions.
Sure, let's go.
Let's warm up with a few fun facts about you. How would you describe your personality in 3 hashtags?
Optimistic, curious, and resilient.
How would you describe your life in 3 sentences?
Living adventure, embracing challenges, and keep learning.
What kind of music stimulates and motivates you the most?
I would say classic piano from Chopin, Mozart, and Bach.
What's your personal motto?
Think big, act small, and stay humble.
What is your favorite book?
How to Influence People and Make Friends from Dale Carnegie.
What is your favorite podcast?
Unfortunately, I don't listen to podcasts that much.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Say something interesting about you that most people don't know.
So I actually did hip-hop dancing for 3 years when I was a teenager.
What is your hidden talent?
So I would say I learn things or memorize things super fast.
If you were going to write a book about your life, what would the title be?
Life of adventure.
Great start. Now, let us dig deeper. Our childhood has an effect on our adulthood. Our early experiences shape our belief about ourselves, others, and the world. Now, Ran, I want to discover your childhood. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Sichuan, southwest province in China, and it's famous for spicy food.
What was your dream job as a child?
Detective.
What was your favorite subject in school?
I would say art, mathematics, and physics.
What was your least favorite subject?
Oh, that's definitely chemistry and biology. I'm really bad with memorizing that part of like an equation or formula.
What is your earliest memory of technology and the arrival of the internet?
So my uncle got a PC when I was 6 years old and they showed me how to play car racing video game, and it was so cool.
Which were the 3 first technology gadgets you owned?
A CD player, I got it from my mom, and the MP3, and also PC.
Who was your female role model growing up and why?
It's my grandmother. She worked in the early tech industry in China, and she managed to have a successful career while raising up 3 kids, which is amazing.
How do you think where you grew up and the school you went to and the generation you come from influence your education and career choice?
Definitely a lot. The school I went to have a very inclusive culture with students from all different backgrounds, like not only about gender, but also like geodiversity. And also my dad always told me like women can do anything men can do. So I never limited myself in any area. So I have a lot of interest in different subjects. But mathematics is my favorite. And I have a great female math teacher. She always encouraged us to think out of the box. And there are more than one way to solve the problem. So here I am, a data scientist.
Love it. Now I'm going to read 2 quotes. First one, how does the universe expect me to choose a career path at 16? I can't even choose what I want for dinner. Second, Abraham Lincoln said, the best way to predict your future is to create it. So Ran, I want to know the choices behind your career path. What did you study at university?
So I studied economics during my undergraduate, and it's a popular subject at that time and easy to find a job.
Who and what influenced you to get into your chosen field?
In my current chosen field, it's stats or data science. It's my husband, like back time was my boyfriend. He influenced me. So while I finished my master's degree in finance, he was doing his PhD study in machine learning, and he introduced me to this area. And I'm really fascinated by the combination of mathematics, which I'm really passionate about and always like, and stats and engineering and the power of machine learning to solve problems at large scale.
What professional roles have you had before that led you to the current one?
I was a data scientist at Wayfair, where I built machine learning models for online ads bidding and targeting. Working in a growing company like Wayfair, it gave me the chance to be involved in the whole life cycle of the machine learning project. But at a certain time stage, I want to go deeper into a certain area to gain more expertise. So Google is a perfect choice for me at that stage.
And Google is, of course, super famous company, but if you would describe it in few sentences, what does Google do and what is your title?
I'm a data scientist at Google, specifically support data science for Google Search. And I think everybody know what Google Search do. It basically provides information to satisfy users' information need in all areas.
And how did you get the job and what are your main responsibilities?
My friend referred me during the pandemic period, and I got an invitation for the first round interview after a month. And I passed that round, but then the hiring slowed down. So I waited for another 4 months and then moved to the on-site interview and finally got the offer. Being a data scientist at Google, at least for me, the main responsibility is analyzing data and uncover actionable insight to help drive product strategy and directions. We work with the cross-functional teams to improve our product and provide better user experience.
What does a typical workday look like for you?
Half of my working time is to meet with stakeholders and the collaborators to present our analysis and discuss the next steps. And the rest of my time is focused on technical work, including in-depth data analysis, research work, and the coding.
I love the quote, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. So Ran, what do you love about your role?
It gave me the opportunity to keep learning new things in both technical and soft skill by doing different projects and working with brilliant colleagues. For me, a good job is where you could keep learning new things and improving yourself.
What is the best experience you've had in your role so far?
It's definitely working with intelligent colleagues at Google, especially the senior data science from our teams. They are so talented, and the most important, they are always willing to share and help. Everyone is so nice with each other. I'm really happy to work in such supportive environment.
And what is the biggest challenge you've encountered so far and how did you tackle it?
How to build a relationship, earn trust, and get yourself a seat in the table, especially for new Googlers. So in Google, we call new join people as new Googler like me. It's not easy at the beginning. Most of the collaborators, they have a long year of experience in that product. As a new Googler, you will need to learn fast, deliver high quality, constantly think as a product owner, communicate effectively to gain people's trust and value your opinion. I have a great mentor, he gives me a lot of coaching on this by shadowing his meeting with stakeholders, how to drive the conversation and give me constructive feedback and help me to grow.
What do you wish everybody understood about your role?
I would say 100 people could have 100 different ideas about data scientists, and they are right. Data scientists mean different things for job responsibility in different companies. Data science is a combination of essentially two subjects like stats and engineering, but different jobs may have different focus parts.
What is the one common myth about your profession or field that you want to disprove?
Data science is either all about machine learning or another way like analytics. As I mentioned before, it actually varies for different companies. Some have both of it. Some may be more part of one of them.
What do you love about working in the tech industry?
I love the massive data you can get in the tech industry, which you can use to drive insight and solve problems at large scale and make impact.
Oprah Winfrey quoted, "Think like a queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is not a stepping stone to greatness." Ran, what have by far been your biggest achievements in your career?
I would say the machine learning model I built for my previous company, Wayfair, improved our online ads profit by millions, and it's still not in production, then getting a job at Google.
What's the biggest factor that has helped you become successful? Any success habits?
Being curious. Don't take answers for granted. It's better to validate by yourself. Think about the problem to solve and explore the multiple solutions.
How do you measure your own performance at work?
Whether we are bringing positive impact on our users, our colleagues, and our community, this is the most important way to measure our performance, at Google. And it gives you a sense of achievement when you are seeing your work help to improve millions or billions of users' experience and make their life better.
What is your biggest failure in your career, and what did you learn from it?
Sometimes I overcommitment or burn myself at the end. So when I started my first job, I want to move things as fast as I could. If I could finish my work in 2 days, I will go back and tell my manager or stakeholder I'll get that done in 2 days. But something can always happen, like unexpected things. Mistake could also happen when you rush. I learned the lesson is like how important to manage your expectation with your manager, with your stakeholder, and even with yourself. The most of unhappiness or burnout is due to poor expectation settings. You need to give yourself buffer and manage not only your manager's stakeholder, but also yourself expectations.
What is inspiring and motivating you the most in your role and career right now?
Just think about the problems the data science could help to solve is very exciting for me. I would say data science is not just a tool, but it's a very powerful tool to solve problems at large scale. And I'm keen to explore the different problems it can solve.
Let us now jump into the influence of mentorship and role models. Role models can consciously or subconsciously be a powerful force in our lives. In addition, mentors can guide us through our career journey and open the world of possibilities. Ran, you said earlier that you have a mentor today. What is it about that person that inspires and motivates you?
He is my tech lead and also my mentor. He's a very experienced, talented, and brilliant data scientist. I feel lucky to have him as my mentor. He teaches me some really cool and fancy technical skills in both Python, SQL, and help me to improve my soft skills. And that's the most important things. And give me constructive advice on my career growth development.
Who is the female role model you look up to in your field?
I would say JC Chen. She's my skipping manager and she's a senior staff data scientist at Google. She directed managing me for my first 6 months. She's an amazing leader and very inspiring.
History shows that it has been more common for men having mentors and role models in business than women. Ran, how important do you think it is to have a role model and a mentor during one's career?
It's definitely crucial. Mentor not just to provide you with coaching, but also practical advice on your career development. Sometimes they can be your sponsor as well. See the talent of you, help you grow, and even make opportunity for you.
Let's move on to leadership. Sheryl Sandberg, CEO of Facebook, quoted, "Leadership is about making others as a result of your presence and making sure that the impact lasts in your absence." Ram, what does leadership mean to you?
So I totally agree with that. I feel leadership is all about developing and lifting others. Make your team and your team members successful. The most things, being a leader, you will feel the sense of achievement when you help people grow and watching them become better and better.
What do you consider a good versus a bad leader?
I'll start with the bad leadership. For me, bad leadership means being bossy, not listening to others, no empathy. On the contrary, the good leadership creates an inclusive environment where everyone has opportunity to contribute, express their voice, and feel they belong to the team, regardless of their background, like degrees, levels, genders, or race.
Who is your favorite female tech leader?
I would say JC, as I mentioned before, and also Diana Tang.
How would you describe yourself as a leader?
I'm not a leader yet, as I'm still in the early stage of my career. But if I got the chance to become a leader one day, I hope I could be a leader that respects everyone, lifting others, and committed to creating an inclusive environment.
And as a future leader, what values are most important to you?
Creating an inclusive environment.
Then what would you say, what leadership lessons have you learned that will form you into the future leader?
As I mentioned before, I do experience some like bad leadership in my early stage. So actually that leadership lesson taught me the importance of creating a safe and inclusive working environment for the team. So people feel they have the same access to the resources as everybody in the team, feel they can contribute, feel they are valued. And I think this is really important to the whole team.
What are your 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses?
3 strengths: quick learner, grow into the new field pretty fast. Another is get things done. I like to cross the things from my to-do list. I'm being recognized as a reliable collaborator. I really like to be considered as a reliable person. And you have to become a reliable person by getting the things done in a high quality. Weakness, I would say, I still need to improve my prioritization. Sometimes I got too many things on my plate, and it's really important to prioritize things based on their impact and urgency. Another thing I want to improve is sometimes I want to move things too fast, but small mistake could happen. This is an area I want to improve as well.
Let us now jump into the hottest topic in business today, workplace culture, unlocking the power of diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging. What does diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging mean to you, Ran, personally?
Diversity means you have people from all different backgrounds, include but not limited to gender, race, work, academic background. Equality means everybody feels they are valued equally, respected equally, and share the equal access to the resources. Inclusion means, for me, everybody feels they belong to the place. At the same time, they can be themselves or being authentic.
What do you consider being 3 to 5 signs of good company culture if you were to join a company?
First, whether those companies already have a good reputation of the corporate culture. Another thing is the turnover rate in the company. And another thing, which is what I used to refer to, is their reviews or ratings on Glassdoor or other like open forum to say what's their current or former employees' feedback of the company.
As a woman, what has been the most significant barrier in your career, and how have you overcome these challenges?
The biggest challenge for me is to earn trust and build a relationship. Based on my personal experience, I do feel it takes longer time for women to build trust and being considered as a reliable collaborator compared with men. It requires a longer time of proving your abilities to consistently deliver high quality work before you could earn yourself a seat at the table. Simply realize this fact and don't take it personal and work even harder to prove yourself. That's the thing helped me to overcome this.
Why do you think it's important for more women to join the tech industry, especially as leaders?
Leaders is one, lifting others. I would say women is one who can lifting up the women. They understand the barrier the women couldn't be facing. They understand the importance of the representation of women on the table, on the board. I think that's the importance of having the women leadership.
Do you and how do you speak with your female and male colleagues about diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging challenges, especially salary gaps?
Google has a really good culture of diversity, equality, and inclusion, not only for our community, which means the Googlers working at Google, but also for the users, so they could have the same and equal product experience, which is really important. Within that, we also have like public forum. You can express your voice and discuss all those subjects.
There are many public and internal discussions about the barriers women face from reaching higher position in the tech industry. How do you feel it has affected and is affecting you, and what is your advice on how to best unblock these roadblocks?
I haven't got affected too much at my current stage, which is just the early stage of my career. But I believe when you arrive a certain level and trying to move higher, there could be a barrier like women will be facing. And I think one solution is to have more representation of women on the high level, like the VP level or C level, so they can lifting up each other's.
As the tech industry finds it hard to attract and retain women, what is your best advice on strategies on how companies can work to build a stronger corporate culture that engages gender diversity?
They need to have a good representation of the female leaders at senior level, as I mentioned before, so they can create opportunities for women and lifting each other. Sponsorship or membership from senior level female leader could also help. And simply having a representation of the female leader at a high level, it could be really inspiring for a lot of women. They can become the role models for them.
What would you say are the few challenges and possibilities of implementing diversity, equality, inclusion, and belonging culture in a workplace today?
I would say top-down approach to implement and create the diversity, equality, and the inclusive culture. The leadership has to realize the importance of implementing a workplace with the diversity, equality, and the inclusion.
Why and how do you think companies would benefit from having workplace gender diversity, especially better gender representation at C-level?
The answer is simple. If they want their product to meet the need of the users, then yes, as women makes about 85% of all consumer purchase in US and drive about 70 to 80% of spending among consumers, women is important.
How much do you think the industry has changed regarding this subject since you joined?
I think I'm lucky to join in the tech industry at the stage where there is a conscious understanding of the importance of diversity, equality, and inclusion, but there is still a long way to go.
And as you said, you're in the early stage of your career, but looking back at the career you have already, what one thing would you have changed in your working environment to break the bias?
To have good leadership to create an inclusive culture, people from all backgrounds, regardless of the race, gender, degrees, could be valued equally.
And looking forward, what will you do as a future leader to improve the bias for the next generation of women in tech?
I feel like having more and more successful women in all industries, not only in tech industries, is really, really important. And for myself, I'll try to become or motivate myself to become successful. In this way, women could lift in each other and the young girls could be inspired and believe in themselves. They can do everything they want to do and they can be successful.
Let us move on to another hot topic in business today, which is workplace life balance and mental health. Ran, you have without a doubt a busy lifestyle. How do you take care of yourself to maintain a good mental health?
I like to disconnect from my phone or social media or even internet during the weekend. Spend quality time with myself or my family by doing the things that make me feel so happy and keep healthy. For me, it could be dancing, working out, reading, painting, or playing pianos, or even enjoy some music or movie with my family.
Have you ever experienced burnout?
Oh, definitely.
How did you tackle it?
I will set aside some time if I feel I'm burnt out. I will set out some time just to think about the things on my plate and think about the things I need to finish now and the things I can do it later. And it really helps. Sometimes you feel burnt out because you just want to finish everything very quickly, but you may not need to do that. You can just finish the most important one and take your time to finish the rest of them.
What motivates you every day to get out of bed?
Curiosity. I want to know what's happening today and how is the stock market today and any big news in the world and what my day is going to be and what I'm going to learn today.
What is your advice on how companies can create a more mentally healthy workplace in the new now?
I would say having regular feedback from employees, either through survey or like a manager conversation with your reports to understand the employees' well-being status and their need and how the company could help.
Now, let us wrap up with a few words of wisdom and piece of advice for our listeners. Ran, what is the best piece of advice you've been given that has helped you during setbacks in your role and career?
I would say career is just part of your life. You will get affected so much if you value it too much. I'm not saying you shouldn't value it. For me, getting to the higher level is not my ultimate goal. Keep learning and improving, that matters most to me. It's okay to have setbacks or failure as long as you learn from it and do better next time. Be nice to yourself.
And then, what is the worst advice you've ever given and how did you tackle that?
I don't think I have been given some like really worse or bad advice yet. I'll get back to you on this in future if I got some of them.
Is there something you wish you would have known or a skill you wish you had when starting out in the tech industry?
One skill I wish I could have before I joined the industry is engineering skills. I learned coding along the way I was doing my master in statistics. I wish I could take some advanced engineering classes before I joined the tech industry because it's going to make my work much more efficient and the code itself will become much more high quality.
If you had the ability to go back in time when you were just at the beginning of your career, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would say don't work for money, work for passion. And if you are doing the things you are passionate about, the money will just come along the way. Actually, this is advice coming from my professor during my master study at Boston University. And as I mentioned before, why I chose my undergrad major, it's economics because it's the popular ones and easy to get a job. You can earn the money. But at the time when I finished my master degree and thinking about the industry I should join, and within the advice from my professor really helps. So I joined the data science, and that's what I'm passionate about.
What advice would you give to young girls and women wanting and trying to break into the STEM fields today?
I will keep the same advice my professor gave to me and to those young girls. You still have long life ahead of you, so take your time, explore different things, find the one you're passionate most about, and then stick to it. Work hard, and then you will feel so happy, and also you can earn money at the same time.
Last but not least, Ran, what is next for you in your role and career in tech? What are your career aspirations?
For the next coming few years, my goal is to become a senior data scientist with strong technical skills and soft skills, especially be good at stakeholder management and strong leadership and help to move things and make impact.
Ran, thank you so much for being a guest on the Queens of Tech podcast. Sharing your journey will without a doubt inspire change and reshape company culture for the next generation of women in tech.
Thanks for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
Thank you for listening. If you have worked in the tech industry minimum 3 years and would like to share your journey, please nominate yourself or somebody you know to i@jasminemoradi.com. For more podcast episodes and to learn more about the Queens of Tech initiative and to support us, visit queensof.tech.